Nikola Tesla, Part 1. Nikola Tesla, born 10 July 1856 and passing away 7 January 1943, was a Serbian-American engineer, futurist, and inventor. He is renowned for his revolutionary contributions to the design of the modern alternating current (AC) electricity supply system. Born and raised in the Austrian Empire, Tesla first studied engineering and physics in the 1870s, without receiving a degree. He gained practical experience in the early 1880s working in telephony and for Continental Edison, in the rapidly growing electric power industry. In 1884, he immigrated to the United States, where he became a naturalized citizen. For a short time, he worked at the Edison Machine Works in New York City, before striking out on his own. With the help of partners who financed and marketed his ideas, Tesla set up laboratories and companies in New York to develop a range of electrical and mechanical devices. His AC induction motor, along with related polyphase AC patents, was licensed to Westinghouse Electric in 1888. The deal earned him a considerable sum, and his inventions became the cornerstone of the polyphase system that Westinghouse eventually brought to market. Attempting to develop inventions he could patent and commercialize, Tesla conducted a range of groundbreaking experiments, including mechanical oscillators, high-voltage electrical discharge tubes, and some of the earliest X-ray images. He also built one of the first-ever wirelessly controlled boats. Tesla became well known as an inventor, demonstrating his achievements to celebrities and wealthy patrons in his lab, and captivating the public with his showmanship during lectures. Throughout the 1890s, he pursued his ideas for wireless lighting and for the worldwide wireless distribution of electric power, conducting ambitious high-voltage, high-frequency experiments in New York and in Colorado Springs. As early as 1893, Tesla publicly spoke of the possibility of wireless communication with his devices, foretelling technologies that were still decades away. Early life and family. Nikola Tesla was born into an ethnic Serb family in the village of Smiljan, within the military frontier of the Austrian Empire, on 10 July 1856. His father, Milutin Tesla, 1819 to 1879, was a priest of the Eastern Orthodox Church. His uncle, Josef Tesla, was a lecturer at a military academy and an author of several mathematics textbooks. Tesla's mother, Georgina Duca Mondik, 1822 to 1892, was the daughter of another Orthodox priest. Although she never received a formal education, she was gifted with inventiveness, making homecraft tools and mechanical appliances, and possessed the ability to memorize Serbian epic poems. Tesla credited his eidetic memory and creative abilities to her influence and heredity. The fourth of 5 children, Nikola began primary school in 1861, studying German, arithmetic, and religion. In 1862, the family moved to Gospic, where his father served as parish priest. There, Nikola completed both primary and middle school. Childhood and education. In 1870, Tesla moved to Karlovac to attend high school at the Higher Real Gymnasium, where classes were taught in German, the official language of education in the Austro-Hungarian military frontier. Tesla later wrote of being fascinated by the demonstrations of electricity given by his physics professor. "The mysterious phenomena," he recalled, "made me want to know more of this wonderful force." A prodigious mind, Tesla could perform integral calculus entirely in his head, astonishing his teachers, who initially thought he was cheating. He completed the 4-year gymnasium course in just 3 years, graduating in 1873. Illness and turning point. After graduation, Tesla returned home, only to contract cholera, which kept him bedridden for 9 months and brought him to death's door several times. In a desperate bid to give his son hope, Milutin promised to send Nikola to the best engineering school if he recovered. Tesla later recalled that during this period he read Mark Twain's works, which lifted his spirits and aided his recovery. To avoid conscription into the Austro-Hungarian army the next year, Tesla fled to the mountains near Tomengai, where the fresh air and nature helped him regain both physical and mental strength. University years in Graz. In 1875, Tesla enrolled at the Imperial Royal Technical College in Graz on a military frontier scholarship. He excelled in his first years, passing nearly twice the required number of exams and earning high praise from his professors. He was particularly entranced by the lectures on electricity from Professor Jakob Poschl. However, by his third year, Tesla was struggling. He never graduated and left Graz in December 1878, abruptly cutting contact with his family. Before America, early career in Europe. Over the next few years, Tesla's path wound through hardship and odd jobs, including working as a draftsman in Maribor, before returning to Gospic after being deported for lacking a residence permit. His father died shortly after, in April 1889. In 1880, his uncles financed a move to Prague so he could study at Charles Ferdinand University. But, lacking proficiency in Greek and Czech, he could only attend lectures as an auditor. By 1881, Tesla was in Budapest, working under Tivadar Puskás at the Budapest Telephone Exchange. He soon rose to the role of chief electrician, making numerous improvements to the equipment. In 1882, he moved to Paris to work for the Continental Edison Company, where he gained extensive practical experience, designing improved dynamos and motors. Moving to the United States. In June 1884, with the recommendation of Charles Batchelor, Tesla emigrated to the United States and began work almost immediately at the Edison Machine Works. Moving from the cosmopolitan atmosphere of Europe to the crowded industrial Lower East Side of Manhattan was, Tesla wrote, a painful surprise. Tasked with troubleshooting and improving generators, Tesla's presence reportedly impressed Edison himself. Working at Edison. One notable moment came after Tesla spent an entire night repairing damaged dynamos aboard the SS Oregon. Upon meeting Tesla in the morning, Edison allegedly remarked to Batchelor, "This is a damned good man." Tesla was assigned the project of designing an arc lamp-based street lighting system, then the most popular form of street lighting. Although his design was innovative, it was never commercially produced, possibly due to Edison's deal with another arc light company or technical shifts towards incandescent street lighting. Part 2. Tesla had been working at the Edison Machine Works for a total of 6 months when he quit. What event precipitated his leaving is unclear. It may have been a dispute over a bonus he did not receive, either for redesigning generators or for developing the arc lighting system that was ultimately shelved. Tesla had previous run-ins with the Edison company over unpaid bonuses he believed he had earned. In his autobiography, Tesla wrote that the manager of the Edison Machine Works had offered him a $50,000 bonus to design 24 different types of standard machines, but it turned out to be a practical joke. Later versions of the story have Thomas Edison himself offering and then reneging on the deal, quipping, "Tesla, you don't understand our American humor." The size of the bonus in either version has been noted as unlikely, since manager Batchelor was known for being stingy with pay, and the company did not have that amount of cash, equal to nearly $1.75 million today, available at the time. Tesla's diary contains only a terse note for that period, written across 2 pages covering 7 December 1884 to 4 January 1885. Goodbye to the Edison Machine Works. Tesla Electric Light and Manufacturing. Soon after leaving Edison, Tesla began working on patenting an arc lighting system, possibly the same one he had designed while at the company. In March 1885, Tesla met patent attorney Lemuel W. Sorel, the same attorney used by Edison, who introduced him to businessmen Robert Lane and Benjamin Vail. They agreed to finance an arc lighting manufacturing and utility company in Tesla's name, the Tesla Electric Light and Manufacturing Company. For the rest of 1885, Tesla obtained patents, including one for an improved DC generator, his first U.S. patents, and oversaw the building and installation of the system in Rahway, New Jersey. However, Lane and Vail were uninterested in Tesla's further ideas for developing alternating current motors and electrical transmission equipment. After the utility was operational in 1886, they decided that manufacturing would be too competitive, opting instead to simply run the electric utility. They abandoned Tesla's company, leaving the inventor penniless, and, because he had assigned his patents to the firm in exchange for stock, he lost control of them as well. Tesla worked odd electrical jobs and even dug ditches for $2 a day. Later in life, he would call this period of 1886 a time of deep hardship, writing, "My high education in various branches of science, mechanics, and literature seemed to me like a mockery." The Tesla Electric Company and the AC induction motor. In late 1886, Tesla met Alfred S. Brown, a Western Union superintendent, and New York attorney Charles Fletcher Peck. Both were experienced in promoting inventions and handling patents for profit. Intrigued by Tesla's ideas, including a thermomagnetic motor, they agreed to back him financially. Together, they formed the Tesla Electric Company in April 1887. The deal was that profits from patents would be split equally 3 ways: 1/3 to Tesla, 1/3 to Peck and Brown, and 1/3 reinvested in development. They established Tesla's laboratory at 89 Liberty Street in Manhattan, where he worked on improving and developing new electric motors, generators, and other devices. In 1887, Tesla developed his induction motor, running on alternating current (AC), which was rapidly expanding in use in Europe and the United States due to its advantages in long-distance, high-voltage transmission. Tesla's motor used polyphase current to generate a rotating magnetic field, a principle he claimed to have envisioned as early as 1882. Patented in May 1888, this design was simple, self-starting, and required no commutator, eliminating sparking and avoiding the high maintenance of replacing mechanical brushes. Westinghouse deal. Peck and Brown arranged independent testing of the motor, then sent press releases to technical publications timed with the issuance of the patent. On 16 May 1888, Tesla demonstrated the AC motor at the American Institute of Electrical Engineers. Westinghouse electric engineers quickly realized Tesla's patent could be vital for the AC systems their company was marketing. George Westinghouse saw Tesla's design as superior, and in July 1888, Peck and Brown struck a deal. Westinghouse would license Tesla's polyphase motor and transformer designs for $60,000 in cash and stock, plus a royalty of $2.50 per AC horsepower produced. Westinghouse also agreed to hire Tesla as a consultant in Pittsburgh at a rate of $2,000 per month, roughly $70,000 today. War of currents and financial strain. In Pittsburgh, Tesla helped design an AC system for city streetcars, but his constant-speed induction motor was impractical for variable-speed traction, so they ultimately used a DC motor instead. Tesla's involvement with Westinghouse came at a time of fierce competition, the War of Currents. Edison Electric promoted direct current as safer, attacking Westinghouse's alternating current, while Thomas Houston sometimes sided with Edison. By 1890, Westinghouse Electric faced severe financial trouble after the Baring crisis in London triggered investor panic. Lenders forced Westinghouse to cut spending, including the per-motor royalty in Tesla's contract. Tesla, valuing Westinghouse's continued promotion of AC, freed the company from its royalty obligations. Later, in 1896, Westinghouse purchased his patents outright for $216,000. Wealth and New York laboratories. The proceeds made Tesla independently wealthy, free to pursue his interests. From 1889, he moved between several New York laboratory locations over the next 12 years, including 175 Grand Street, 3335 South 5th Avenue, and 4648 East Houston Street. In summer 1889, Tesla learned of Heinrich Hertz's experiments confirming electromagnetic waves. Experimenting with high-frequency currents, Tesla found that conventional coils overheated, leading him to create his oscillating transformer, later known as the Tesla coil. By the early 1890s, he was conducting dazzling public demonstrations of wireless lighting, energizing Geissler tubes and incandescent bulbs from across the stage, and speaking of the potential for wireless communication. 1893 Columbian Exposition. By 1893, Westinghouse engineers had refined a practical, efficient version of Tesla's motor. The Tesla polyphase system was now compatible with existing single-phase and DC systems, enhancing its marketability. That year, Westinghouse won the bid to light the World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago with AC power, a pivotal public showcase in the AC-DC debate. In the Electricity Building, Westinghouse devoted a prime display to Tesla's inventions, including the famous Egg of Columbus demonstration, where a two-phase motor coil spun a copper egg on its end to illustrate the rotating magnetic field. Tesla himself visited the fair, performing his wireless lighting demonstrations and unveiling his steam-powered reciprocating electrical generator, though it never became practical for large-scale use. Part 3. Over several years, proposals had been made and competitions held, featuring various systems, two-phase and three-phase AC, high-voltage DC, and even compressed air. Adams asked Tesla for detailed information on the status of each competing system. Tesla advised him that a two-phase system would be the most reliable, and noted that Westinghouse already had a system to light incandescent lamps using two-phase alternating current. On Tesla's recommendation, and backed by the Westinghouse demonstration at the Columbian Exposition, the company was awarded the contract to build a two-phase AC generating system at Niagara Falls. At the same time, General Electric was awarded a further contract to build the AC distribution system. The Nikola Tesla Company and the Fire of 1895. In 1895, impressed by Tesla's laboratory, Edward Dean Adams agreed to help found the Nikola Tesla Company, created to fund, develop, and market a variety of Tesla's earlier patents as well as new inventions. Alfred Brown joined in, bringing along patents developed under Peck and Brown. But tragedy struck. On the night of 13 March 1895, a fire broke out in the basement of the South Fifth Avenue building that housed Tesla's lab. The flames were so intense that Tesla's fourth-floor laboratory collapsed into the second floor. The destruction wiped out much of Tesla's ongoing work, early notes, research material, models, and demonstration pieces. Many of these had been displayed only 2 years earlier at the World's Columbian Exposition. Grief-stricken, Tesla told the New York Times, "I am in too much grief to talk. What can I say?" X-ray experimentation. Starting in 1894, Tesla began investigating what he called radiant energy of invisible kinds, after noticing that photographic film in his lab had been mysteriously damaged during earlier experiments, later identified as Roentgen rays or X-rays. Using Crookes tubes, cold cathode electrical discharge tubes, Tesla may have inadvertently taken one of the world's earliest X-ray photographs, predating Wilhelm Röntgen's famous 1895 announcement by several weeks. In Tesla's early image, his attempt to photograph Mark Twain illuminated by a Geissler tube produced only one visible detail, the metal locking screw on the camera lens. By March 1896, Tesla had advanced his X-ray experiments, building a high-energy, single-terminal vacuum tube with no target electrode powered by his Tesla coil. This device produced what we now call Bremsstrahlung, or braking radiation. He declared his circuits could generate X-rays of much greater power than obtainable with ordinary apparatus. Tesla warned of hazards, noting skin damage from his devices, but he attributed the harm mistakenly to ozone and nitrous acid effects on the skin, not to the rays themselves. He also incorrectly believed X-rays to be longitudinal waves in the ether rather than a form of electromagnetic radiation. The radio-controlled boat. In 1898, Tesla astonished audiences at Madison Square Garden during an electrical exhibition. He unveiled a radio-controlled boat, which he dubbed Tele-Automaton. The small vessel was guided via a coherer-based radio control system decades ahead of its time. Tesla hoped to sell this idea to the U.S. military as a remotely controlled torpedo. The military dismissed the proposal. He continued to promote the concept, giving a demonstration to the Commercial Club in Chicago on 13 May 1899, shortly before departing for Colorado Springs. Wireless power toward Colorado Springs. From the 1890s to 1906, Tesla poured his time and much of his fortune into the dream of transmitting electrical power without wires. At this time, even long-distance wireless communication was not yet feasible, let alone wireless transmission of large amounts of energy. Tesla had studied Heinrich Hertz's radio wave experiments, but concluded, incorrectly, that Hertz had misunderstood the underlying phenomenon. Tesla believed conventional radio waves would radiate away into space, diminishing in strength, and thus would be useless for his purposes. Instead, he sought a way to conduct electricity long distances through the Earth or upper atmosphere. At his East Houston Street lab, he set up a massive resonance transformer, a magnifying transmitter, to begin testing these ideas. To study the conductive nature of low-pressure air, Tesla needed higher altitudes, more space, and fewer safety concerns. In 1899, he chose the open environment of Colorado Springs, where he could operate much larger coils than in New York. The El Paso Electric Light Company agreed to supply him with AC power free of charge. Funding came from John Jacob Astor, who invested $100,000, nearly $3.8 million today, in exchange for a majority share in the Nikola Tesla Company. Tesla told reporters his goal was to conduct wireless telegraphy, sending signals from Pikes Peak to Paris. The Colorado Experiments. At his experimental station, Tesla constructed a coil system operating in the megavolt range. It produced dazzling artificial lightning, bolts up to 135 feet, 41 meters, and rolling thunder created by the discharges. In one dramatic mishap, his experiments caused an overload that burned out the El Paso power station's generator, plunging the area into darkness. Tesla made detailed observations of the electrical noise generated by lightning strikes. Misinterpreting his data, he concluded that the entire globe could be used as a conductor for electricity. During these long nights of experimentation, Tesla also picked up mysterious signals on his receivers. In December 1899, and again in December 1900, he speculated in public that they might be communications from another planet. The press pounced on the idea, suggesting the signals might be from Mars. Part 4. Back in New York, he met with potential investors, hosting dinners at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel, the Players Club, and Delmonico's, showcasing both his technical vision and his personal charm. In March 1901, Tesla secured $150,000, equivalent to nearly $5.7 million today, from financier J.P. Morgan, in exchange for a controlling 51% share in any wireless patents developed. Tesla's goal, to build a facility at Shoreham, Long Island, 100 miles east of New York City, that could transmit messages across the Atlantic and ultimately deliver electrical power without wires. The Wardenclyffe Tower Project. By July of that year, Tesla upgraded his design to outpace Guglielmo Marconi, whom he believed was using methods based on Tesla's own work. But in December 1901, Marconi famously transmitted the letter S from England to Newfoundland, beating Tesla in the public race for transatlantic wireless. In June 1902, Tesla moved his operations to the Wardenclyffe Tower site. The structure rose nearly 187 feet, with a 68-foot diameter copper dome meant to send power and signals through the Earth itself. Despite its bold ambitions, Wardenclyffe faced a fatal challenge. Investors began pouring their money into Marconi's more modest and more obviously successful radio technology. The press turned skeptical. Some labeled Tesla's dream a hoax. By 1905, work on Wardenclyffe had stalled. Biographer Mark J. Cypher suggests these setbacks may have contributed to a nervous breakdown Tesla suffered the following year. To cover debts, including $20,000 owed to the Waldorf Astoria Hotel, Tesla mortgaged the Wardenclyffe property. Funding never returned. After Morgan's death, Tesla wrote repeatedly to his son, Jack Morgan, seeking new backing, without success. Shifting offices and waning fortunes. In 1906, Tesla opened offices at 165 Broadway, hoping to develop and market new patents. He later moved to the Metropolitan Life Tower, 1910 to 1914, then briefly to the Woolworth Building, leaving because he could not pay the rent. From 1915 to 1925, Tesla worked from 8 West 40th Street. But by then, most of his patents had expired, and his inventions struggled to find commercial traction. His fortune quickly evaporated. The bladeless turbine. On his 50th birthday in 1906, Tesla demonstrated a 200 horsepower, 16,000 RPM bladeless turbine, a design using smooth discs instead of blades to harness fluid dynamics. Between 1910 and 1911, several prototypes were tested at the Waterside Power Station in New York, producing between 100 and 5,000 horsepower. Tesla licensed the principle to a precision instrument company. In the end, it found limited use powering luxury car speedometers and certain measuring devices, far from the transformative engine Tesla had envisioned. Wireless lawsuits and World War I. During World War I, Britain cut the transatlantic telegraph cable to Germany, aiming to control communications. Litigation erupted between wireless companies. German firm Telefunken hired Tesla as a paid witness at $1,000 a month for 2 years. The case fizzled when the U.S. entered the war in 1917. In 1915, Tesla attempted to sue the Marconi Company over infringement of his wireless tuning patents. His case went nowhere. Ironically, in 1943, months after Tesla's death, the U.S. Supreme Court voided some of Marconi's patents, indirectly restoring Tesla's, Oliver Lodge's, and John Stone's claims to certain priority rights. The ruling did not credit Tesla as the inventor of radio, but it closed Marconi's infringement case against the U.S. government. Inventions on the margins. Tesla tried marketing several ozone-based devices, including a therapeutic gel made by bubbling ozone through oils, and later, a room sanitizer for hospitals. In 1912, he even proposed wiring schoolroom walls to bathe students in infinitesimal high-frequency electric waves to enhance health and intelligence. The idea was provisionally approved by New York school superintendent but never implemented. He speculated on high-frequency electric rays to detect submarines, an early thought experiment that shared a superficial resemblance to radar. Tesla was wrong in assuming radio waves could penetrate deep into water, but correct that high-frequency systems would one day locate distant objects. In 1928, Tesla received a patent for a vertical takeoff and landing biplane, a concept decades ahead of its time, but impractical with available engines and materials. He imagined it selling for under $1,000. By now, Tesla's life had shifted into a pattern of frequent hotel moves, unpaid bills, and reclusiveness. Even so, he maintained a dedicated routine, including daily walks to feed the pigeons, often nursing injured birds back to health. Part 5. He resided in a succession of New York hotels, often leaving behind unpaid bills. He became a familiar, solitary figure in Midtown Manhattan, walking daily to feed pigeons in Bryant Park, nursing injured birds back to health in his rooms. One white pigeon, he said, visited him every day. Tesla spent over $2,000, the equivalent of tens of thousands today, to care for her injuries. Westinghouse's Lifeline. By 1934, concerned over the optics of a destitute Tesla, Westinghouse Electric discreetly began paying his rent at the Hotel New Yorker. They provided him with $125 per month under the guise of a consulting fee, a way to support him without offending his pride. The birthday press conferences. In 1931, at the urging of journalist Kenneth Swayze, Tesla celebrated his 75th birthday publicly. He received congratulations from many luminaries, including Albert Einstein, and appeared on the cover of Time magazine with the caption, "All the world's his powerhouse." The event was such a success that Tesla turned his birthdays into an annual press occasion, complete with elaborate spreads of food, demonstrations of his inventions, and sweeping, often fantastical predictions. 1932. Tesla announced he had built a cosmic ray motor. 1933. At age 77, he declared he was on the brink of demonstrating a new, inexhaustible form of energy, violently opposed to Einstein's physics, that could last for 500 years. 1934. He unveiled his concept for teleforce, quickly dubbed the death ray, a defensive particle beam weapon that he claimed could end all war. In the New York Times in 1940, Tesla described it as capable of destroying targets 250 miles away. Privately, he tried to interest the US, the UK, the Soviet Union, and Yugoslavia in the system. The technical treatise, later found in the Tesla Museum archives, described a high-voltage open-ended vacuum tube that could project charged metal particles at extreme speed. 1935. Tesla told reporters his mechanical oscillator had once caused an earthquake in his New York lab so strong that police arrived. He claimed it could destroy the Empire State Building with just 5 pounds of air pressure. He also proposed telegeodynamics, transmitting seismic vibrations through the Earth for communication or mineral exploration. Final years and death. In 1937, at age 81, Tesla was struck by a taxicab while on his nightly walk. He suffered severe back and rib injuries but refused medical treatment, a lifelong habit. He never fully recovered. On the night of January 7, 1943, Nikola Tesla died alone in room 3327 of the Hotel New Yorker. A "Do Not Disturb" sign had hung on his door for 2 days. The cause of death was ruled coronary thrombosis. 2 days later, the FBI ordered Tesla's belongings seized under the Alien Property Custodian. Massachusetts Institute of Technology professor John G. Trump examined the materials, concluding nothing posed a danger in enemy hands. Among the rumored death ray parts, he found only an old resistance box. On January 10, New York City Mayor Fiorello LaGuardia delivered a eulogy at Tesla's funeral in the Cathedral of St. John the Divine. Personality and beliefs. Tesla never married, claiming celibacy was important to his scientific focus. He could be charming, refined, and generous, but also eccentric and sharply critical, especially of what he saw as shoddy dress or poor manners. Philosophically, he distrusted both Einstein's theory of relativity and the idea of atomic particles, adhering instead to a 19th-century vision of a continuous, all-pervading ether. He hinted at a dynamic theory of gravity that he never published. Tesla admired aspects of Eastern philosophy, studied Hindu and Vedic concepts such as Akasha and Prana, and envisioned a mechanistic universe, a great machine without beginning or end. Legacy: Tesla held around 300 patents worldwide. After his death, much of his estate was shipped to Belgrade, forming the core of the Nikola Tesla Museum. In 1960, the SI unit of magnetic flux density, the Tesla, was named in his honor. Forgotten for decades, his name and reputation surged back to public attention in the late 20th century, cementing his image as one of history's most visionary inventors, a man who dreamed on a planetary scale.